They'd promised never to sleep angry. It was their rule, their thing. Every argument, no matter how bad, always ended the same way. One of them would whisper, "I'm still here," and the other would say, "I know." But that night, neither of them said anything. Claire waited by the window, watching the streetlights flicker across the empty road. The clock ticked past midnight. Then 1, then 2. No call, no text.
No imsuri.
When Ryan finally came home at 3:47 a.m., his shirt smelled faintly of perfume, not hers. He dropped his keys, muttered, "Don't start," and walked past her. And in that moment, Claire knew. Something between them had already broken. The next morning, she found a lipstick stain on his collar, a shade she'd never worn. She didn't ask. She didn't cry. She just stared at it, long enough for her coffee to go cold. At breakfast, Ryan pretended everything was fine, kissed her forehead, asked about her day, like love could cover lies. She smiled back because that's what wives do when they're afraid to know the truth. That night, when he fell asleep beside her, Claire lay awake, her fingers tracing the empty side of his heart that used to belong to her. A week later, his phone rang while he was in the shower. Claire didn't mean to answer. Her hands moved before her mind did. "Hello," a woman's voice, soft,
Familiar.
"Hey baby," she said. "Same hotel tonight?" Claire froze. Her heart made a sound she'd never heard before, like glass breaking underwater. She hung up before she could speak. When Ryan came out, towel around his waist, she was standing there, the phone in her hand. "Who is she?" she whispered. He hesitated a second too long. "It's work. You're overthinking." But the lie was too calm, too practiced. Claire nodded slowly. "Then I guess work smells like Chanel now." That weekend, she packed a small suitcase and drove to her sister's house 2 towns over. Ryan called twice. She didn't pick up. For 2 days, she sat on the porch, staring at her wedding ring, feeling like it belonged to someone else. When she finally returned home, Ryan was waiting. His eyes were red, his voice hoarse. "Claire, please. It's over." It meant nothing. She looked at him for a long time. "Then why does it still hurt like it meant everything?" He didn't answer. He just cried, the quiet kind of tears that make no sound. For a moment, she almost forgave him. But forgiveness without trust is just surrender. So she didn't. A month later, Ryan got a job offer in California. Claire told him to take it. "You're leaving?" he asked, stunned. She smiled weakly.
No.
"You are." The night before his flight, he found a letter on the nightstand. "Ryan, I hope you find what you're chasing. I loved you when you were honest. I even loved you when you weren't. But I can't keep waiting for you to come home. Not when you already left a long time ago. Claire." He read it 3 times before the tears came. Claire sold the house, moved to Portland, started painting again. Something she'd given up when life got too loud. She told people she was fine, and most days she was. But sometimes, late at night, she'd still check her phone, half expecting his name to appear. It never did. Ryan called once, months later, from a payphone. He didn't say anything when she answered. He just listened to her breathe. Then he hung up. 5 years later, Claire was preparing for her first art exhibit when she saw him again. Ryan stood at the back of the gallery, older, thinner, wearing that same crooked smile that once made her fall apart. Their eyes met. For a heartbeat, the world stood still. "I heard you were here," he said quietly. She nodded. "You look good." He chuckled sadly. "You don't have to lie." They talked for a while, about work, about family, about everything except what mattered. When the crowd thinned, he reached into his pocket and pulled out something small. Her old wedding ring. "I kept it," he said. "Couldn't throw it away." She stared at it for a long time. "You should have thrown it into the ocean." "I tried," he whispered, "but it wouldn't sink." They parted at the gallery door. She didn't look back. Not until she heard the sound of traffic outside and someone shout. By the time she ran out, it was already over. A drunk driver. A flash of light. Ryan lying on the wet asphalt, eyes open, ring still clutched in his hand. The ambulance came too late. That night, Claire sat on the hospital bench, staring at the ring, her tears falling onto its gold surface. "He finally came home," she whispered, "just not the way I wanted." Years later, one of her most famous paintings would be titled The Night He Didn't Come Home. Critics called it a masterpiece of loss. Only Claire knew it wasn't a painting about death. It was a painting about love that stayed, long after the person didn't.